Hello and good morning to you. Let's get into it. Today I'm going to talk to you about a few of the experiences I've had working with a few small open source projects and basically trying your best of providing some type of solution or value to other people or other developers basically. And almost, I think this actually kind of goes for anything that you try to make. I don't think it's necessarily specific to an open source project. I think it's applicable to almost anything you could possibly make, or a service or a product or anything like that. So one of the things that I kind of learned with starting out and kind of, it's actually applicable to this little channel of mine as well. One of the things that I started learning when I started making like various programs and so forth. Like after I started programming, and I kind of got a little bit of experience under my belt, and I started being able to actually provide like applications that were useful to maybe more people than myself. I'll tell you a short story about it. So when I was working at Ticketmaster, I had the good fortune of working with a colleague that, he's still like one of the most skilled programmers I've ever worked with, and he and I, we were cut from the same cloth, right? We are highly passionate developers who love what we do, and we were continuously trying to improve the work experience for ourselves and for like the overall quality of the project. And so during my time there, we actually built two things for the Ticketmaster project, basically, that actually turned out well enough that we could open source it. And those projects they are not the first necessarily things that I put up on like the node package repository and on GitHub and so forth, but they are the first things that actually had any type of, how would I put it, they had the type of quality where it is feasible that somebody else could actually have use for it, right? So after that happened, basically, like he and I would he helped. I wrote most of the code, and he basically had feature requests and so forth, and I did a little bit of work to improve the project. And so at one point we sat down and we had this talk, and we had together kind of built this thing, right? And he said to me like, "Oh, Frederick, you should try to get this on Hacker News, or you should try to get some publicity to your repository." And so I kind of turned to him and I said, "Well, yeah, I know it would be great if it would be so awesome if this turns out to be something that is useful to other people and that they can have make their lives easier. But the thing is that I don't want to promote it." And he kind of looked at me and said, what do you mean? Why don't you want to promote it?" It's difficult for me to explain, but the way that I think about it is that I don't want the project to be about myself and the stuff that we've done. I'm okay with telling people who seem to have a problem, or if I'm just talking with somebody, or I see somebody on a forum that has an issue that I think that this project or like this thing could solve, then I want to give them a tip. Like I send them a link and I say, "Hey, you could check this out, it might help you out." And the thing is that's the type of mindset that I personally at least would have, regardless of if it's my project or not. If I see somebody who on a forum on Stack Overflow or something that has an issue with something, and I think, "Hey, I was working with, I don't know, Webpack or like some other framework or tool, and I really like that," then I would give them that tip. Like I would tip them off about this tool. And I want to be true to that, regardless of whether or not it's my tool or somebody else's tool. And that's kind of the way that I think about this, like my channel and like my product and so forth. I would make an absolutely terrible business person, because if you don't promote things, how do people know that you're doing something? And I kind of go and say that I told my friend, my colleague as well, that I prefer what I call organic growth, where basically I want to build something, and basically have the mindset that if this is truly valuable, if it truly brings value to somebody else, then hopefully somebody is going to acknowledge, the work that has been put into this, and, promote it themselves. I would rather have just a handful of people, or like somebody say that, hey, Frederick, this was a really nice thing you did here. I really liked it. So I told some friends, and here they are, and they would like to use it as well. Like that would, and I told my colleague this as well. Like that's the way that I want to have things. That's the way that, at least for me, it feels the best, honestly, because then it's genuine. Like having that type of organic growth, then the project is truly valuable to somebody. It's not something that I just promoted myself in order to sell somebody on. It stops being about me and the stuff that we made, and like it becomes more about the project, and it forms a community around what the focus should be, that this brought value to somebody. And to me, that is more important than anything else. And he kind of said, yeah, but you're not going to get as many downloads on the project as you could have otherwise. And I say, yeah, okay, yeah, I get that. I understand. But I'm actually willing to do that, right? For me, like, I didn't get into programming to, get acknowledgement for what I do. It's about helping people. And to me, I think I would rather risk nobody using it rather than trying to, self-promote it, something like that. Because if the day comes when some, newsletter or somebody else starts using the stuff that I make, and they say, this is a really cool little gem that we found on some obscure guy's, repository, and people actually say, hey, this is actually kind of nice, and I see that there starts to come an interest, like then the project actually gets a little bit of popularity, then I want to even more, because I didn't try to promote it, I didn't try to inflate its value, then I'm even more encouraged to actually make it even better, and then it kind of grows from there. That's at least the way that I like to think about it. And the reason why I tell you this is because I found this to be true for a lot of other stuff. It's actually funny. I made a video just a few days ago, I think last week, where I basically say, I talk about, the fear that I know a lot of people feel to learn new things. And, I think it's named something, you're not too dumb to be a programmer. And this is, it was just another video, another day, another video. And I was so happy that one of the people who actually watches, because believe it or not, I actually have a few people who watch, was kind enough to share that video on Reddit. And it got a little bit of notice, a few, much, a lot more views than my average videos. And I was so happy and I actually got a few subscribers for it as well. And it made me feel so good. I was so happy that this person that, I never promoted it. I never promoted the video, I never promote this channel or anything like that. And this guy just kind of, because he liked the video, he shared it, and all of a sudden, that thing I was just telling you about, exactly that happened, organic growth. That the quality of the work that you provide speaks for itself. And I think that that's a very healthy mindset to have. If you are making, at least from my perspective, if you make things for the purpose of making yourself famous or provide value or get recognition and so forth, then I think that you're making them for the wrong reason. If you need to sell a product and you need to start a business, you should absolutely promote things. But if you're just like me, and you build things because you want to bring value to other people, then make sure that you make it about other people and not yourself.